Hello there, it is I, Shepherd Chang, bringing to you the next part of the God for the God? What? No, that's not right. I'm not an evangelist. Uh, Evangelist, whatever. Televangelist. No, no. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Hello there, it is I, Shepherd Chang, bringing to you another part for the guide to the Minecraft mod Avaricia. And in this episode, we are talking about the tools added by Avaricia. And there are quite a few of them, and they do quite a bit, so this is probably going to get split into a couple parts. But, well, I suppose let's get started with the stuff we were actually talking about in the last episode. If you remember the last part, we were talking about the materials you need to make the various items in Avaricia. And you can see 3 of them that I'm going to be talking about first below me. That's the Ultimate Stew, the Cosmic Meatballs, and the Endest Pearl. Now, you probably realize this, but the Ultimate Stew and the Cosmic Meatballs are foods. You can eat them and they will restore hunger. They will also give you buffs. Now, I'm going to demonstrate that in a few minutes. I gotta get my hunger down far enough to show you just how much hunger it restores. So I'm going to cut away here and go to a time when I have no hunger. Okay, almost there. And I'm out of hunger. Ultimate Stew, let's eat it. Eat, eat, eat. And it completely restores your hunger, and it gives you regeneration 2 for 5 minutes. Yep. That's pretty good. Especially when you consider what it's actually made from. If you're running just Avaricia, it's honestly not that bad to get. And if you want to use it as food, it's really not that bad an idea. If you are, however, using multiple mods with it, make your own choices. Now I'm going to cut away again here for the Cosmic Meatballs. Alright, so I'm almost out of hunger. And there we go. Now, Cosmic Meatballs. Fully restores your hunger and gives you strength 2 for 5 minutes. Very nice. Now, again, the recipe to make that isn't that bad. Pile of neutrons, yeah, it's a little bit expensive for food. But, hey, again, play this game however you want. Okay, so, now we're going to talk about the Endest Pearl. I think I might have said Endest Pearl before. I don't remember. Yeah, just me being me, saying stuff wrong. Yeah, the proper name for it is the Endest Pearl. Just a quick reminder, that's the recipe. These are not nearly as cheap as the Ultimate Stew or the Cosmic Meatballs. But hey, if you really want to use them for stuff, again, go ahead and use them. They're actually pretty neat. Now, these do not work like Ender Pearls. Yeah, and I'm going to show you that right over here, so I can show you a couple of different effects they have. Quick warning, do not use these anywhere near anything you consider valuable, because there we go, and it's a black hole. Yes, it's literally a black hole. And there's an explosion. It does in fact send blocks flying. If we no, too dark to tell. But if it wasn't underwater, you would in fact see that block of sand did in fact land somewhere. Now, as you can guess, these do not affect water blocks or lava blocks, and in other mods they most likely do not affect other types of liquids. Now, did I just see a squid over here somewhere? There it is. Yes. Let's see what happens to the squid. The squid got sucked in. Yes, you can probably guess. It sucks in mobs, it sucks in players, whether they're hostile or friendly. It will suck it in, and let's demonstrate that real quick. Make it a little bit more obvious, just to show you a little bit of range. Now, the creepers are over there, pigs all over the place. If we go from there, let's see, how far? Yep. From that far, they're still getting sucked in. Those creepers, however, are not being affected. And of course the explosion does do damage. Ah, there you got to see some of the blocks falling. The explosion does damage anything nearby. Now, just to finish this off, let's go into survival mode to show you what it looks like to die to these. Nope, not game mode 1. There we go. Now, you really want to get these at a good angle so you don't get sucked in. See? From this distance, I'm being pulled in. And it's damaging me. And of course, I fell from a high place. Yep. Those were what the Endest Pearls do. And they're neat. Okay, and as sort of a final note, this is the area where I died to the Endest Pearl. Now, you notice that the items I had are no longer there. So yeah, those items I had, they got destroyed. Yeah. So, again, be careful with those things. Okay, so now, as a final note for these, there are two things. First, they don't affect bedrock, which I'll show you in just a moment. The other thing is this. Because I'm in creative mode, I can just sort of spam these. Unless you've got lots of materials to make them from, which I suppose you could if you're in survival, you're probably not going to be able to spam these, nor will you want to. Let's see. And why? I'll show you. There goes one. And you'll notice that they are sort of curving to go into that. So, thrown items are in fact affected by the sort of gravitational pull of these. Yep. See? I'm pulling them up, but they're going down into them. Of course, this is probably not something you're ever going to have to worry about, because this is the sort of thing you can only really do in creative. These ain't easy to get. But yeah, as you can see, the sort of black holes they create don't really affect each other. It's not like they combine and create a giant black hole. They're just black holes occupying the same sort of space. And of course those explosions do have knockback. I'm still not far enough down for bedrock. Darn. Ah, there's an interesting point. If you throw them into water, they are not affected by the water. That was an odd visual glitch. Don't think I've ever seen that before. The water just sort of disappeared. Yeah, if you throw them into the water, they're not like pulled down by the water like a normal item would be. Their trajectory is not affected at all. And there's finally some bedrock. And as you can see by those ones going down, they're not doing anything to the bedrock. Huh. Interesting little visual pull they got there. Yeah, they do not affect bedrock in any way. Okay, so now that we've got the items we've already covered out of the way, it's time to start talking about the stuff we haven't seen yet. And we're going to start with this one here. That is this item, the Skullfire Sword. And I'm going to get rid of the rain. Like I was saying, the Skullfire Sword. It's a neat looking little thing that has a very good use, especially with this mod. Now, let's look at the recipe first off. It uses 10 crystal matrix ingots. It's, had a brain fart there for a moment. It uses 6 blaze powders, uses 4 bones, another star, and 2 wood logs. Now, they do not have to be oak. They can be any type of wood. Let's see. I believe this will show us that. Yep. Any type of wood log should work, including modded wood. It has to be the logs themselves, not the planks. And it can be, of course, in any sort of combination. Now, what does it do? Oh, it is great. This might be one of the most useful weapons I've seen in mods, because it does something quite nice. Let's hover over it for a moment. Skullfire Sword, plus 7 attack damage. Beheads skeletons and scorches them black. Yeah. I'll let you guess until I show it to you, but here's a skeleton. Oh, it's burning, and now it's dead. And a wither skeleton skull. Every time you kill a skeleton with the Skullfire Sword. Scored? Did I say scored? Every time you kill a skeleton with the Skullfire Sword, it drops a wither skeleton skull. Now, for those of you who have played Minecraft all the way through and had to fight the wither boss, you know that getting these is very difficult. But this makes it so much easier. So much less time consuming. Even if it is expensive to get. But again, the advantage for this is that this mod uses a lot of nether stars. Darn it. Nether stars. Because remember, every crystal matrix ingot requires 2 nether stars. So yeah, the Skullfire Sword is a very good item for you to try to get as soon as possible. It makes this so much easier. I mean, it's still very time consuming, don't get me wrong. But yeah, much easier. Okay, and now we are looking at the other sword added by Avaricia. And this one is pretty darn cool. This is the Sword of the Cosmos. Look at that item. That is some very cool animation it's got. Now, how do you make it? Well, first off, you need 1 infinity catalyst, 2 neutronium ingots, 4 crystal matrix ingots, and a whopping 16 infinity ingots. Yeah, this is not a cheap item, but it is pretty darn cool, aside from just looking neat. Now, let's look at it. Infinity attack damage. Infinity. Yes, it really is infinity damage. Now, the interesting thing about that, for those of you who are playing with other mods, you may know that some mods have a sort of damage limit for their for the enemies they add. I believe Abyssalcraft does that. So does Advent of Ascension. Now, I think I showed it off in one video or other where I used the Sword of the Cosmos to kill an Abyssalcraft boss. But anyway, I'll explain it again here because I'm not going to make you go watch that again or something. Basically, some mods literally make it so you cannot do more than a set amount of damage. For example, if there is a weapon with a base attack of 8, you can't do more than that amount of damage to a mob. It's stuff like that. Basically, if you have, like say if you're running Tinker's Construct, you can make really powerful weapons with that. And of course, if you go into creative, you can access some ridiculously powerful stuff. Basically, even if you use those on the enemies, it will not instantly kill them. That's basically what it does. But the Sword of the Cosmos ignores that rule. Even if there is a damage limit from that mod, This sword ignores that and will instantly kill any mob. Well, any mob that is killable. There is one mod I can think of that adds an unkillable mob. I'll have to test that out at some point. But anyway, let's demonstrate. Creeper. Got so much health. Dead. Now, of course, Creeper isn't exactly a great example for infinite damage. But, hey, you know, whatever. This guy, on the other hand, is a great example for demonstrating infinite damage. He's got 300 HP according to Wyla. And get back here. Dead. Instantly. With a single attack. Yep. It's powerful. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the pickaxe added by Avaricia. It is called the World Breaker. And it is very aptly named. Now, it requires 7 neutronium ingots, 1 crystal matrix block. It doesn't say block in the name, but that's what it is. Which requires 9 crystal matrix ingots, just like most other metal blocks. And of course, it uses 19 infinity ingots. I think it was 19. Yes, 19. It uses 19 infinity ingots. Not exactly cheap to make, but it is worth it. Now, actually, I probably shouldn't show this off here. Let's go to a different area. Okay, so, different area. So, what does it do? Well, of course, I am in creative, so it just destroys blocks. And of course, I'm in creative, so it doesn't use any kind of durability. But there is, in fact, a reason I am in creative. And I'm going to show you that right now. First, I gotta do this. It just changed shape. This is a hammer mode, is what I'll call it. The pickaxe changes to a hammer. Now, why would I need to be in creative to do this? Well, first off, you do not need to be in creative to change the mode. I'm in creative because of this. Fall damage. Because of that. Yup. This whole thing got mined out because it's in hammer mode. Now, of course, I am in creative, so all those blocks were destroyed. Now, so let's show you just how wide this cube I've created is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 blocks wide. 16 blocks long and 16 blocks high. And of course, I do believe it also mined out that wood, so yeah, this isn't something that can only affect rock. It affects gravel, sand, and dirt just as easily as it does stone. Okay, so now I am in normal survival mode, and I am actually wearing some items that will prevent me from taking fall damage. I'm not going to show you what they look like because I'm going to get to the armor added by Avaricia in a bit. First off, the pickaxe mode of the World Breaker in normal old survival mode. It's pretty much exactly the same as what hitting blocks is like in creative mode. It takes literally no time at all to destroy the blocks. The blocks are, of course, dropped, and of course you can pick them up. Now I will note that dang it, it's fine at this point. The World Breaker has a 8 attack and it has Fortune 10. Yeah, Fortune 10, that's pretty good. Let's see if I can show that off with this coal. I got 20 coal from 1 block. Wow. Yeah, that's definitely Fortune 10. Now, I will say that, yeah, let's shove that there. Hammer mode does something interesting when you're in survival mode. Now, boink. Now, that, of course, it is not quite as instant as the pickaxe mode is. But now you notice that they did not drop any items, but there is suddenly that item there. Now, what is that? This is a matter cluster. There are a couple of items in Avaricia that drop these when you mine, and the hammer mode of the World Breaker is one of them. Now, if I do it again, it's dropped another, which did not, in fact, disappear, but rather, it combined into this. Now, what is the matter cluster? If I hover over it, matter cluster, 3,476 of 4,096 items. Used to deconstruct, hold shift for contents. Okay, shift. Flint times 54, coal times 540, cobblestone and dirt, a bunch. Now, you might be able to guess from this, but if I now right-click this, it just dropped all those items. And of course, it completely filled up my inventory. The matter clusters are really useful. It literally collects all the items that you mine with the World Breaker in hammer mode into a single item. It's easy for storage, and it will hold those items until you use them, on which it will then drop them in stacks. Okay, now over here is something interesting. With the World Breaker, when you use it as the hammer mode, if there is a breakable item that drops items, like grass, that has the possibility of dropping seeds, it will not be collected into the matter cluster. As far as I know. Oh, I am in creative mode again because I had to delete the inventory. But, let's see here. There is another thing I absolutely need to show you all with this. Let's see, and that involves digging straight down. Now, those items there, they were part of the mining I did when the World Breaker was in Pickaxe mode. Pickaxe mode, of course, does not collect items into matter clusters. Now, let's see. A couple more things. Now, you'll notice that the appearance of the matter cluster I had has changed when I collected that second matter cluster. This is a critical matter cluster. Again, it looks different. And the critical matter cluster, of course, is a matter cluster that is full, completely. The nice thing about the matter clusters is that they just sort of combine together when you pick them up. Yep, instead of having a third one, I simply have one that is now has another 1,000 items or so. Now, of course, let's see. Nothing special or unusual about them. The critical master clusters do not suddenly have some kind of crazy... I don't know, I don't even know where I was going with that. There's nothing particularly unusual about them. They're just full. They don't have any special uses. They don't have any other real use. Okay, so let's just continue with what I need to do. Okay. Gonna keep mining down until... those fell. Now, of course, it does not collect liquids. So yeah, this lava, it doesn't end up in the matter cluster. Let's get rid of those real quick. And just to show you, something interesting to note there. The matter cluster did in fact fall in that lava and was destroyed, which is unfortunate because that was a useful sort of thing to show you. Now, we're at the level of bedrock. Now, something important to keep note here. You notice that there was, in fact, bedrock above this. And if I now click over, let's see, this one, bedrock 28. Bedrock 28. The World Breaker, it can destroy bedrock. Furthermore, it will collect that bedrock in the matter clusters. Using the World Breaker in the hammer mode, you can obtain bedrock in survival mode. That is pretty darn cool. But of course, you also run the risk of falling into the void and dying when you try to do that. So yeah, keep that in mind. I'm able to survive because I was able to survive and fly around in survival mode because of an item I'm using. I'll get to that later. Okay, so I almost forgot this. Very nearly did. So, the hammer mode can mine bedrock. So can the pickaxe mode. Yeah, I almost forgot to tell you this. So of course, you don't have to use the hammer mode to collect bedrock. You can just use the pickaxe mode. Okay, something important to note here that I also almost forgot to show off. If a tool gets dumped into lava, like that, you notice that normally it would be destroyed. It's currently on fire, and now it's not. It literally just sort of bounces out of lava. So, if you end up dropping one of these tools into lava, it won't be destroyed. You can pick it back up again. Let's see here. Ah. Of course, I'm in creative mode. That was silly of me. I'm in creative mode, so when I actually used up the matter cluster was not destroyed. Now, something interesting to note, it did not appear to have dropped every item in the cluster. Or maybe it did. Where are those other items going? That's interesting. That's interesting. I've never noticed this before. It's almost as if these items are being recollected into the matter cluster. But there's some of them are still dropping. Okay, that's something I've never encountered before. I don't think I've ever tried this while in creative mode. That's interesting. Interesting little glitch for you, I guess. Huh. But yeah, that's what I was trying to show you. You can, in fact, collect that bedrock. And what is happening with those? I wonder. No? I'm still collecting these. And the amount in the matter cluster is not changing. I don't know what this is about. I've never encountered this before. Interesting. I'm not sure what to tell you. Okay, so I think that's about everything for the World Breaker. Let's move the next item. The shovel, which is called the Planet Eater. It requires 6 neutronium ingots, 10 infinity ingots, and 1 infinity block. And of course, if we're being super technical here, the infinity block is made up of 9 infinity ingots, so it is in fact 19 infinity ingots. But, you know, whatever. Trying to be as technical as possible here. Now, the Planet Eater. Time to show this off. Let's go in this direction. Now, of course, once again, I am in creative mode with this, so the results will be slightly different. Now, let's see. Normal click. Normal. It's not doing anything. I wonder why. What about this? Yeah, that's just the normal shoveling thing, and of course, because I'm in creative mode, it destroys it. And of course, right-clicking does nothing. Interesting. So, what about when I'm in survival mode? Right-clicking, or right, normal thing. It drops through, just normal shovel action with basically in creative. It drops the normal items, doesn't do silk touch or anything. Doesn't use durability, just like the Sword of the Cosmos and the World Breaker. And what about right-clicking? Nope. Right-clicking does nothing. So why would you want to make one of these? Well, the answer is actually because of this. Shift, right-click. And it suddenly looks very different. So what does this thing do when I normal left-click? Ah. It widened out quite a bit. And of course, it dropped a matter cluster, which is full of dirt. And just like when using the World Breaker, the grass blocks, yes, I suppose they are technically blocks. The grass blocks that drop seeds did not in fact get sucked up into the matter cluster. They just sort of fell. Now, what happens if I could use it on wood? Nothing. Nothing special. It isn't instant like it is with dirt. But yeah, that works okay. Doesn't use up durability or nothing. And there's the matter cluster. Now, as you can see, it works great on dirt. How about stone? Why, yes. Yes, it does. And now, you'll notice that unlike with the World Breaker, the World Breaker absorbs ores and coal and redstone and all that stuff, which I suppose is technically ore. The Planet Eater leaves them behind. It doesn't suck them into the matter clusters it creates. You notice that it is all dirt. Now, let's do it again. Yep. Now, of course, interestingly, even though you're going through stone, the matter cluster only contains dirt. Why do you suppose that is? Well, the answer, to be perfectly honest, is I don't know. But it's certainly interesting, isn't it? You are technically going through stone to get this. Now, let's check real quick. It has 1,248 dirt right now. And if I click here, that went through a whole bunch of stone. Ah, now it has some gravel and some flint. But yeah, it has more dirt. For whatever reason, the Planet Eater converts any stone you eat through into dirt. Yeah, that's neat. Easy way to get lots of dirt, and of course to find these ores so that you can use any of your fortune pickaxes or whatever on them. But yeah, I do believe this is also a 16 by 16 square. Though I'm not quite sure why it has a difference between when it's using just dirt and when it's going through stone. I'm not completely sure about that. But yeah, this is a neat tool. Also, it still does nothing when you right-click. Okay, so I think that's a good place to end this first part, because at this point I've been recording for an hour and a half. Wow, yeah. So, yeah, you a little look behind the curtain there just to see how much this has been edited down. And I'm still only about halfway through the tools, so this is a good point to end this part. We're going to go finishing through the rest of the tools and then covering the armor in the next part of this guide for the Minecraft mod Avaricia. I was Shepherd Chong. Goodbye.